What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Meet Me Nation. I have Caleb with me today. Caleb, how are you?
Doing fantastic, man. Happy to have Kelechi on.
Yeah, and we also have Kelechi here, who's a former UTSA football player who is now working in the real world. Kelechi, how are you?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me.
No, glad to have you on. So, I guess getting started with it, kind of where are you from? Where'd you go to high school? What got you into football? Things like that.
Shoot, so I went to high school in Beaumont, Texas. Went to a small school, 4A school, and that's where I was for my first 3 years. Then for my senior year, I moved to McAllen Memorial down in the valley,
Yeah,
and that's where I graduated from, and that's where I lived my first couple years of college. And now my people they live in Houston. But I've been playing tackle football since I was 5 years old. I used to love college football, man. Played all the NCAA's, and I think that's what like always was my goal was like to play college. I never cared about the pros. It was really just I want to play college, and like I didn't really know anybody that went D1, so I had nothing like no idea what to expect. And I think that's what just made my first couple years just so fun, and just because everything was so new for me and all that. But yeah, man, and UTSA was always they were my first offer, and I think I ended up with like 12 or 13, whatever. But yeah, they were my first offer. I committed to them. I think my sophomore year of high school, and yeah, that's where I've been at since, man. I always knew I wanted to be here, and just
that's
watching this
awesome. And
place
so,
grow, man. Yeah, it's
yeah.
been crazy.
No, that's awesome. So, what was the recruiting process like for you? Because I know for everyone it's very different. So, what was it like for you personally?
Shoot, it was a learning experience. You kind of learn about the business side of it without
Mm,
even really wanting to learn about it. And so there was a point where I was gonna decommit from UTSA and commit to Rice. And Coach Frank Wilson, he flew to my house. I don't even know how they found out. I didn't tell anybody. And they flew to my house, him and the old my old position coach, and they gave me this whole presentation about like why I need to come to UTSA and blah blah blah. And man, I was like, man, like thank God he did that because I was really about to decommit and go to Rice. But
yeah,
the recruiting process was cool. You kind of just want to go where you think you would fit in and who you had the best relationships with, like coaches wise and whatnot. Because I mean, that's the people you're with 90% of your time. So that's what I did, and I just went wherever, like I had the best relationships with.
100%. I guess, like you said, you didn't really have anyone that went D1, so you didn't really know kind of what to expect. So, I'm sure it was just a big shock whenever you started realizing, hey, like all these schools want me to come. So, like, it must have been hard to choose at the time.
Yeah, for sure. It was just me and my dad just going through blind, just everything for the first time.
Oh, that's crazy. That is crazy. I can imagine because I know for golf it's very different. It's not the same thing. And so I know I've seen all these videos of guys that are being recruited by Division 1 schools, and it's a whole production when it comes to
Yeah,
kind of get a kid to commit.
yeah.
So did you enjoy your time at UTSA? I know you spent 5, 6 years. One, two.
6 years, man. 6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
What'd
it
you
was
think of
great.
it?
It was great. I mean, at the beginning, it was kind of difficult just being a part of a program that wasn't really known to a lot of winning. Um, and I remember just going to class and stuff. Like I would be trying to promote our games, and people would be like laughing and stuff. I'm like, dang, like, really that bad? And and yeah, just seeing like the change in the like culture around the entire university. That's been the coolest thing. Is just
Yeah.
seeing like our school really get behind like our program once we started winning. And hopefully we just continue that because the sky's the limit for our program.
No, 100%. And what was that coaching change like when it comes to football? Because it's like it's not like you're just losing one coach. You lost basically a whole staff of guys that recruited you and that you knew for so long. It's like, what was that like trying to get adjusted to a new coach, a new regime, basically in comparison?
Man, at first I hated it because I was so close to the last staff, and I had finally was starting to like make a name for myself. and then poof, everybody except I think two or three coaches were gone. And the new staff came in, and I was already I started off on the bad foot. Like I just didn't want to, I didn't want to be a part of whatever they were talking about. They could have been talking about anything, and I wanted no parts.
Yeah.
But then it was really Frank, and I remember Frank after the first meeting we had with Coach Traylor. He was like, "Nah, bro, like just give him a chance. Like I've been hearing good things about Coach Traylor. Like just give him a chance." And I was like, "All right," like because I was on the man, forget this. Like I'm finna leave, and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was really Frank that made me keep my mind open to it. And come to find out, that was the best thing that could have happened for our school. The culture that Coach Traylor brought in has really changed it, changed everything, and it gives everybody something to kind of like an expectation of what you for yourself. And if you got to follow that, if you want to be a leader in that program, you're gonna have to step up your character and all that. And that changed everything for our team.
I know even outside of just even the football team itself, like I know being when I was a freshman, it was the like you said, the losing seasons, the like nobody really wanted to go all the way to downtown to go watch the football games. And then once everyone saw, hey, like Coach Taylor's turning this thing around, everyone wanted to go watch the games, go tailgate, do all that kind of stuff. And so the even just the culture, like you said, the school just completely changed and put
Yeah,
UTSA on the map, really, because the especially in Texas, everyone knows football. And so when you get a good college football team, that puts you on the map. And when you start seeing our school on Sports Center and seeing these people that are big names on ESPN talk about our school, it was a crazy experience whenever it started happening.
yeah, yeah. And we used to never
Caleb,
even like we used to whenever we first got in, like the people in my class, like Andrew McGowan, Sheldon Sticks Jones, Spencer Burford, Terrell Haynes, Tremaine Bell, B Matt. We would always be sitting around and like it was probably we didn't play a lot as freshmen, except for Spence. We didn't play a lot, so we would always be talking about like how it's gonna be whenever we take over. Like, man, we're gonna be on Sports Center and whatnot. Like, in that season, our freshman year, there was nothing good about us on television. So, like, you just kind of forget like that those things are even possible. So, that's why I'm glad, we got back to winning and making plays so everybody can see, kind of the product that we've been creating.
100%. And you played on, like you said, team with Spencer Burford and Tariq. Like, what is it like seeing those guys that you play with now playing on Sunday?
Well, you can kind of tell when there's guys that are just a little bit different than everybody else. And
No, exactly.
and we already knew like those guys, they had whatever they put their mind to, that's what they're going to accomplish. And they kind of been like that ever since they got in. Me and Tariq, we used to be roommates. So I kind of got
Yeah.
to see how he is, and man, just a great
Mhm.
dude. Spencer too. And yeah, we all kind of knew that they were destined for success. So
I know for me, like just even seeing guys that went to UTSA on TV, it's like, oh, that's pretty cool. Hey, like I saw those guys around campus, like I saw them around
yeah,
the race or whatever. Like you see those guys, and you're like, oh, now they're on TV every day. Like,
yeah,
it's a really cool feeling.
yeah,
So
yeah.
what's it been
Especially
like now? Oh, good.
I was about to say, especially Reek's rookie year, man, that was so
Yeah,
cool to follow.
yeah. No, it's cool whenever you see like even though they'll post like flashbacks to like the combine when he ran like that 4.26, and you see the UTSA logo on there. It's just like, hey, like that's my
And
school.
yeah,
Speaking of 40s, how close were you?
no, no, not nowhere near close to.
Oh, that's
What was
funny.
your fastest?
My fastest was a 4.50.
Really?
That's
Four
that's
five
no
zero.
slouch. That's no slouch, man. So what's it been
Oh,
like for you after college football now? Now that you're kind of just working and just going to school now, what's been the big kind of life change? Because I know when you're so regimented in football, like every day, pretty much your day's planned out, and now you're kind of doing your own thing. What's that been like?
Man, at first it was a lot. Um, like every day I woke up over Christmas break. I wake up and I'm like, like checking my phone, making sure I'm not late to something. And I'm like, man, like I have no reason to wake up early anymore. So that was like the biggest change was just like my sleep and always wanting to like, all right, I gotta go to, I gotta start getting in bed and I gotta wake up at 7 and blah blah blah.
Mhm.
But then, man, the free time, I never really had free time. Like we would get like a couple hours like in between,
Mhm.
like, like a 12 to 5, or
Yeah.
we'll be done with everything at 7 p.m. and then you start back over. So yeah, I never really had a lot of free time, and yeah, just trying to figure out like what am I gonna do today. That was the craziest thing. I'm like, man, what am I gonna do today?
Yeah.
And yeah, but yeah, then I started working and it got me back into the flow of things. I like being in the schedule, man. So I'm glad that I got back, into something because I was gonna go
Mhm.
crazy.
Yeah. Has that been kind of what's filled up most of your free time? Has been just work? Like it's kind of how you filled the space in your schedule where you really just didn't have
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
to do.
Yep, just work. Filled with work 8 to 5, baby.
Oh, that's crazy.
Do you get to bring like any of your old football equipment to like decorate your office?
Yeah, I stumbled across a helmet, and I just thought it would look nice in my office and my desk, and it does. It looks great there.
What kind of the skills you learned playing football? Like not even just the football side of things, but communication, working in teams, and things like that. Has that been able to really transfer over well to the real life work environment? Like, have you been able to kind of take the skills that you learned and use them in your day to day life?
Yeah, for sure. I would say the most translatable skill that you learn in football is just being able to like be personable with any kind of person. Like, because when
Mhm.
you're on a team, there's 100 and however many every single year. So think about it. I was there for 6 years. That's a lot of dudes you had relationships
Yeah.
with that are coming in and out. And like
Mhm.
I didn't really notice that until I'm in work, and I could be talking to a middle-aged women. We're just sitting there having a conversation about whatever, and I really like that. I think that's one of the most translatable skills for sure.
That's awesome, man. And so I guess kind of going back to your playing days, like what was your so say when spring ball came around like it is now, it just started last week. What was your day to day life like back then?
Man, so spring ball is like a taste of fall camp. Like,
Mhm.
so basically what it'll be is you practice every other day, or it'll be every
Mhm.
other day, then you get like 2 days off, or however, whatever it is.
Mhm.
So you wake up, you'll have taping anytime between like 6 to really from like 5:30 to 6:30. Get taped, wake up, go get taped. Then you go to meetings. You'll be in meetings from 6:30 to about 7:45, 8.
Mhm.
Then you go to the locker room, you get dressed, go to practice. Practice is about 8:15 to 11:15 ish, somewhere around there. Then after that, then you either have weights or you'll have treatment. If you get banged up or you got whatever going on, and that will go on from however long till probably about 1 or 2. You'll be done.
Mhm.
Then you have meetings at 5, anywhere from 4:30 to 5:30. You have meetings. It'll be an hour, hour and a half. You watch the practice. Then you finally get to go home and you wake up the next day, and the next day you'll have meetings from like 7 to 10:30, and then you'll have weights right after, and then that's it. But then it's like a block schedule, so you're doing this like that first day. That's going to be your next day, and that's just how
Ooh,
it goes. Yeah, for like I think like five
jeez.
weeks.
So you're saying that's a taste of fall camp? What is fall camp like?
Fall camp is like the day I explained every day, but you don't get to leave at 5:30. You got more stuff to do.
Oh my goodness, man. Those are some long days.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Oof.
Are the guys that are outgoing that are prepping for like pro days, is that kind of going on at the same time as uh spring ball's going on? I mean, like roughly same time frame?
So spring ball, like they'll only be using like outside and the weight room until like I told you about 2, and then the what's it called, the pro day training, they'll come at 3:30. and I think it's like 3:30 to 5 or something like that, and that's when they have it blocked off for them.
Gotcha. Were you ever involved in any of the pro days or anything like that? Did you ever do anything like that, or was it kind of like once you hit that last game this past semester, it was just like you're done?
Yeah, well, I kind of came to that realization probably about a year ago, and so I kind of already knew like I was going to be done, regardless.
Mhm.
But I think I did one pro day workout just to kind
Mhm.
of put test it out and whatever. But yeah, I'm a civilian now, man.
It's just like you said; those guys that end up making it to the next level. Next level, they're just different. Like you
Yeah,
just you
they're
you
just
see
different,
them.
man.
That's crazy.
So, how would you view the pressure of like people having to look over their shoulder in spring ball versus versus fall, as far as um, making the depth charts, whether coaches are going to be looking for incoming transfers, just watching your spot.
Yeah. Well, shoot, I can attest to that one. So my red shirt freshman year, no, my true freshman year, I was in the safety room with all seniors. And I kind of knew like once they are all gone, I'm like, okay, I'm next man up. I should have the spot.
Mhm.
And I just was looking forward to spring ball so much to really like make my name. And they bring in the safety, and the safety had a really good spring. And on all the depth charts or whatever going into fall, he was the starter. And like I was just still a backup, and I'm like, dang, like just like that, they bring in somebody, and it just killed all my expectations or whatever for that season. But whenever spring ball is super important, and because that's literally where you like that's where you make a move. If you have a plan on starting that next year, you better make your move in spring ball because it's hard to earn a spot in fall camp. Fall camp, you already kind of know what your team looks like. You're already making, designing whatever you want, for your specific guys. So it's just really hard to make a jump in fall camp. So guys that are unproven, that's when they really take spring ball serious.
That makes sense. So I guess kind of speaking on that, when it comes to transfers, like what, without you don't have to go into too much detail, but kind of what are your thoughts on the transfer portal right now? Because I know like that's the biggest thing in college football right now. That's what everyone talks about is transfer portal, NIL. And it's just like it's a crazy thing to just see guys just go from one thing to the other just like that.
Yeah, man. There's no more loyalty, but I think it's going to be really tough for schools, and kind of like in our situation where we can work our tails off recruiting and we get a good recruiting class. That recruiting class has one good season. They're getting 6-figure off, 7-figure offers from every school in the country. Like it's just hard to compete with that. And I think that's going to be a really tough hurdle that we're going to have to figure out a way to overcome, or we're just going to have to be consistently good at recruiting every single year. But I just think it just made it that much harder for like those schools in that medium area, where we can't outpay everybody.
Yeah. It almost seems like it's turning into college basketball when it comes to that, and just the fact that guys are one and done at smaller
Yeah,
schools. Like it's just like they get their one shot at fame and they get it, and then it's just like, all right, we got to recruit some guy next year because they're gonna be gone.
yeah, yeah.
It's a crazy thing, man. It's a crazy thing, especially because like in other sports, it doesn't seem to happen as much in other sports. Like it still happens every once in a while in other sports, but like football, it's so prominent the transfer portal. Like it feels like you almost look more at the transfer portal than you do recruiting guys out of high school because like that's it's the way it's going now. Like, guys out of high school, they're going to come in redshirt. That seems like a pretty common thing to happen. And so it's just like what guys have already played and proven that they can play at the next level.
Mhm.
Let me just go get that guy, and the freshman can just kind of learn until that guy leaves for a better offer, and you're kind of just banking off that every year.
Yeah, that's literally how it is. And yeah, kind of like you said, man, it's just so much turnover now that
Mm.
you can see some guy that you was watching as a freshman at A&M, and 3 years down the line, he's at Prairie View A&M, a quarterback,
Hmm.
playing a different position or something. Like it's
Yeah.
just it's weird. It's weird to follow all that.
Mhm. That's insane. So, whenever you chose UTSA, did you kind of think this is I'm going to stay here for 4 years, or were you one of those guys who was like, I'm going to go in and see if I can get a bigger offer? Or was this kind of like this was it? Like this is where I'm going to go and I'm going to be loyal to the school for however long I'm here.
Um, I think every athlete has the idea of like how it would be somewhere else, and for sure
Hmm.
that's crossed my mind, like trying to leave. But at the end of the day, like just a naturally a loyal person, and like once I got really close with my group of friends on the team, I knew I was riding out with those guys until I was done.
No, 100%, and that's
Yeah,
good because that's really rare nowadays, especially in college football.
yeah,
Did
we
you
all
play any
knew
other?
like we wouldn't leave.
Yeah. Did you play any other sports in high school, or was it just strictly football?
I ran track and I played basketball my freshman year. But yeah, I was
Okay.
running track and there was a point where I almost quit football to run track.
Really? What'd you run?
Yeah. I was a sprinter, so 1, 2, 4.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
man,
I
back in the
know
day.
I, I know a lot of football guys do that because I know in my high school, like normally the guys that didn't want to do off-season football workouts would run track. That was
Yeah,
kind of the thing that everyone did was if you weren't doing the workouts in the spring, you were running track.
yeah, for sure. It was mandatory at both the schools I went to.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Who are some of your favorite or your friends on the team you were mentioning?
Um, just to name a few: Jared Preston, Corey Mayfield Jr., Tremaine Bell, Terrell Haynes, Brandon Madison, Jalen Rainey, Nick Troy Fortune, Rashad Wisdom. There's so many. I don't want to miss out on anybody, but yeah, man, there's just a really great group of guys.
No one
Really
from your
great group of
circles on the
guys.
other side of ball?
Yeah, yeah, I guess so.
It's almost like a fraternity. It seems like it's just like you spend, especially like both like one side of the ball versus the other side of the ball. You spend 90% of your day with one like those guys, especially like being in position rooms. Like you kind of see those same guys every day in film, practice, everything. So it's just I can see how you just form a bond with those guys.
Yeah, like my locker mates was Cephas and Big O. And I didn't like we didn't talk at practice, we didn't talk at in meetings, like we don't sit nowhere near each other. But just from us being locker mates, we talked all the time. Like we were so kept up with each other. Like it was just really it's just cool. You're like, dang, like that's crazy. We only sit by each other when we're in the locker room. But
Yeah.
but yeah, like even those guys, like those are my boys. And yeah, you
Mhm.
just form these bonds with these people, man, because you're just with them all day, going through the struggle, through the grind with them.
Do you see yourself wanting to get back in football in the future, whether it's coaching or anything like that? Do you see yourself wanting to do that in the future?
Man, that's a tough question because I love football so much, but
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. I got to take a couple years away from it, and
Yeah,
then I guess
100%.
we'll just see from there. Yeah, we'll just see from there.
Do you still keep up with a lot of guys that you played with? Like you still pretty much day to day friends at that point?
Oh yeah, yeah. Like we'll all hop on the game. We'll play 2K, some Call of Duty, Fortnite, whatever. All with
Nice.
all the guys. Hmm.
No, that's
Dude,
good.
how bad does it feel knowing the delay caused you to not be in college football 2024,
Yeah, 2025 or 2024.
2025? Yeah.
Man, yeah, I know that sucks, but
Because it was supposed to come last summer, right? And then
yeah.
Yeah.
they had delays, kicked it back.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to believe anything until they said something for real this time. I'm like, they're just
Mhm.
saying all this again. Like we seen how this goes.
Yeah. It's crazy to me that guys are opting out of it too. Like why would you not want to be in a video game? That's like especially every guy that play any sports games. Like that's your dream. You want to play as yourself in a video game. So the
Right.
fact that guys are like,
To
no, I don't
focus
want to
on
be in it.
football.
Yeah. Oh, come on now.
Like
Yeah,
like
Like
like doing a few headshots here and there for your NIL side and
yeah.
literally signing a 5 minute document as he is
paper.
going to.
Yeah, and you
Yeah,
get
It's
six
I
hundred
ridiculous.
dollars and a
mean
free copy of the game.
Yeah,
that $600 is like $6 to that brother, you know. So he probably didn't care much of it. He didn't want to have. I feel like he probably just didn't want to have like unreal expectations because like they boost him in the game or something. I can understand it.
No, that
true.
makes sense.
Because I mean, there were
I'm
so
I'm
many
s-
people that mentioned, "Hey, we just want to be like in the game. Maybe give us a copy." They didn't even care about the
Yeah,
600.
yeah.
yeah. I can't wait for that game to come out. I'm gonna play it as soon as it comes out. I'm gonna play it all the time. That's gonna be
Man, I
my
can't
game.
wait.
I've been waiting. The last one I remember playing was NCAA 14 back then when that Michigan quarterback was on the cover.
That's a
That
classic
was
right there.
Denard Robinson.
Yeah, Denard
yes,
Robinson. That's a
Denard
classic right
Robinson.
there.
That was the peak of college football games, and I'm gonna be interested to see once NCAA football comes out if they end up moving back into basketball and baseball like they did back in the day. I'm kind of interested to know if they're gonna end
Oh,
up
that would
coming
be
out with
clean.
a whole new line. Well, no,
I
100%.
completely
If
forgot they had baseball.
they had baseball, and I swear they had basketball too.
They
No, they
definitely
had
had
basketball for
basketball. It was
sure.
March
Yeah,
Madness.
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm gonna be really interested to see if this leads to those games coming back out again. Because I know when I was younger, like those are all the games I'd love to play. Because when you're a kid, that's all you dream about is playing college sports.
College
Like,
ball. Yep.
yeah, you want to play professional, but college is like that's where I want to like I want to play Division 1 sports. And so being able to play as guys in the game like that, it's just like it just kind of makes that dream almost a reality for a little bit.
Yeah.
No, that's I play golf, so I won't ever be in a video game, but I will definitely be playing other video games.
No,
I
that
don't get that kind
attitude.
of love. Hey, college golf is not that big of a deal, all right?
Canadian Tour 2026.
Yep, that's the
Indeed.
goal. That's the goal. I'm going to Q school hopefully in June, so I'm hoping to be playing in Canada this summer. It's the goal.
Hey, congrats, my brother, and good luck.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. I'm excited. It's just like it's just whenever I commit, same thing as committing to college. It's just another step in the journey, and it's like
Man.
I'm young, and I'm like, I'm just gonna give it a shot. I'm like, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But I don't want to go without saying at least I tried, you know.
Yeah, I feel that.
And so it's just like I'm gonna just go give it as much as I can for as long as I can, and hopefully it works out.
Hey, man, you going up there by yourself? Have you ever visited or anything?
So I was actually born in Canada.
Oh,
I was born in Vancouver, so I still have a whole bunch of family up there. And so
okay.
like I've been up to Vancouver a lot, and and for me I love to travel. So like just being able to travel and play golf all the time, like that's just like sounds
Yeah,
like a dream to me.
yeah, for real.
So what are you doing now, Kelechi? Like now that you're working a job, what are you doing for work?
So I'm a IT help desk engineer at Documation here in San Antonio. It's about 10 minutes from UTSA. Just started working there 3 weeks ago,
Yeah,
and I've just been, trying to learn as much as I can, and really get this thing rolling, and hopefully I can bring all the skills I've learned in football over, and yeah, man, this is where the journey starts.
yeah, it's just another point in life that you're gonna work through and see what happens from there.
Yeah.
So, as a
What
college athlete for cybersecurity, going over 6 years, did you take what was usually a 4 year degree and just spread it out over six, or were you pretty much done after four and then um, taking some of the just I don't want to say electives, but maybe going towards a minor in those last two?
So it took me, I think, about four and a half, four and yeah, one extra semester to finish my cyber degree, and then I went and started my master's, and I think this will be 2 years in my master's, and now I'm done with my master's this May. So yeah, I wish I could have finished sooner, man, but it was tough, and it got really really tough. The longer I was in it, and me, Brandon Matterson, Maka, and I think Hunter Duplessis were the only ones that were in the cyber program. But
up?
yeah, man, it was tough. It was really tough.
Yeah, I was about to ask, like, because I know for some, like, I know some sports can't do certain majors because of practice and things like that. So I know, and cybersecurity isn't an easy major to do for a normal person, much less a
Yeah.
student athlete that's got as much on their plate as you do. So, like, how are you able to manage finishing your degree along with playing football at a high level?
I would say, man, it was tough. I used to get discouraged, man, because I see in some of my friends in there, they don't have no homework for weeks, and they could
Hmm.
just BS around or whatever. But I'm over here. There was a summer where I took 4 classes, and I literally had to do homework every single day, or there was no way I was gonna like finish all my weekly assignments. Like I had to do homework every single day,
Oh,
and like I just felt like I just gave myself like that was the only option. Like you couldn't fail. Like that's just what you had to
mm-hmm.
do. So I feel like when you look at it like that, like it's not really an option. Like you got to go to class. You got to turn in all your work. Then you'll get through all of it. But sometimes, man, I'll just be really tired. But you got to sacrifice that sleep every once in a while for sure.
No, 100%. And it's interesting because I think a lot of people look at college athletes and they're like, oh, it's just kind of they get to do whatever they want all day and they don't really have as much to do as the rest of us. But I'm like, we're practicing workouts, like you said, film, and then having to do all the work that you do on top of that. And it's like you said, you're done at 6 o'clock in the evening after going to class, workouts, weights, everything all day. And then it's just like, all right, I got to do homework till midnight and then got to get up at 5 o'clock the next morning and do it all again.
I do it all over again every day. So, and
That
then
stigma behind.
my last semester, like the last fall semester, so this past
Mhm.
year, I have my grad courses were from 6:30 to 8:30. So I'm getting out of meetings from being there all day. I'm getting out of meetings during the season, then going straight to class, and I'm in class until the middle of the night. Man,
Oh,
it was rough, man.
I know I've had I think my junior year I had those classes like that because we practice during the middle of the day, just like y'all do, and so like you either take class at 9 o'clock in the morning or 7:30 at night, and so I would have classes from 7:30 to 8:45, and it's just like, dude, I've been up since 5 o'clock in the morning. I do not want to sit and go through this class right now.
Man, the last thing I want to do at the end of my day is be in that class.
Yeah, those are always the worst nights when it's just like I have to go sit through a lecture that really isn't doing a whole lot, and I have to stay awake and focus on everything just so I make sure I get my grades up.
Yep.
It's a whole thing.
Man, congrats on uh, getting your master's this May.
I
Yeah, that's
appreciate it, brother.
huge.
Appreciate it. Thank y'all.
That's huge. But I'm graduating this May too. I'm getting my undergrad, but I'm about to graduate as well.
Dude, it's not a
Hey,
competition.
not a
No,
competition,
he's
brother. We're
better
gonna
than I
be
am. I'm aware. I'm aware.
we're gonna be walking on the stage together, my brother.
Yeah, almost done, man. It feels like it flew by so fast. Like it's like, man, I've been here for 5 years, and I'm sure for you it was for 6 years. It's like, dude, like it doesn't feel like that long ago. I was a freshman walking on campus.
Yeah. No, yeah. Like when you're going through it, it feels like it's just never ending. But
Yeah,
then
exactly.
but then like just like that, you're a senior and you're doing everything for your last time. And I'm like, man, like the time really flew by.
Mhm. And it's like you look up to a lot of the older guys on the team, and then it's like you just kind of see them leave and leave and leave, and then you're that guy that everyone's looking at like, what do I
Yeah.
do? And so it's a weird dynamic when you look at it that way. It's like, yeah, I remember that I was looking up to the guys my freshman year that were seniors, and now I'm the guy that's a senior, and that these younger guys, it's like this is weird.
No, yeah, it was weird, man. Cause man, I used to like I said, I was a freshman in a room full of seniors.
Hmm.
So like it was so cool being in there. I was with Daryl Godfrey, CJ Levine,
Hmm.
Carl Austin, man, Brendan Johnson. It was such a cool room, and like, I was like really like looking up to these guys, and I would go to them with advice, like asking advice, football, girls, school, just anything,
Hmm.
and man, that's what I tried to do whenever I got older. I'm like, man, I'm just trying to be that Carl Austin for somebody else. Let me just try and be
Yeah.
CJ Levine for somebody else.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's how it is at UTSA, and hopefully that just keeps on going, and that's how we keep this thing rolling, man.
Is you want to leave a legacy. You want them to remember you when you're 5, 10 years out of here. You want them to be like, oh, hey, you remember this guy? Like, and I think as you get older, that's kind of what you work towards. Is you're kind of just like, I want to be remembered after I leave here. And it's like, not only do I want to be remembered on the field or whatever, on the course, whatever it is, I want to be remembered for what I did off the field for these guys.
No, yeah, for sure, man, for sure.
It's, it's crazy, especially because I know Kelechi now for 2 years, 2.5 years through Zach. And so, like, it's cool to kind of just see, like, hey, like, I know these guys now and they're doing good. And it's fun. It's cool, especially because even athletics in general, you meet so many people through so many different sports. And it's just like, man, this guy's doing this now and this guy's doing this. It's just like, it's cool to see where everyone ends up.
No, yeah, I know. I love keeping up with everybody. I'm that nosy guy. I want to see like how everybody's doing. And
Yeah, no, exactly, 100%. It's kind of it's cool to see where everyone ends up, whether it is playing professionally or if it's just like playing or just working, whatever it is, just seeing where they're at in life.
yeah, I agree, man, for sure.
And I know for a lot of people, the adjustment from high school to college is a big thing. Like I know for me it was rough just because like in high school you kind of just coast through and it's not super hard. And then you get to college and it's like, oh, this is a lot. So how was that for you? Was it like that as well? Or just like it's just a shock?
Yeah, yeah, it was a shock. Man, coming from McAllen Memorial to UTSA, like, man, talk about a shock.
Hmm.
I used to just be chilling in practice. Like we would have film, and I really started like having real, like for real film sessions when I got to McAllen. So that kind of got me
Hmm.
ready for that aspect of it.
Hmm.
But yeah, man, I'll say the biggest adjustment was practice.
Hmm.
And high school practice and a college football practice, man, it's night and day.
Yeah.
And I remember my first fall camp, and our old defensive coordinator, Coach Rollins, he was my position coach, and
Hmm.
we would keep up with loafs, and a loaf is basically like, um, let's say they run a stretch play to the field, but I'm in the boundary, like they still want you to go run to the ball. So if you don't, it's a loaf. I led the entire fall camp in loaf, like.
Oh,
And he used to just rip me. He's like, "No, we don't do this in college. Like, we run to the ball." And I'd be like, "Coach, like, if I have to guard a go ball all 50 yards down the field, why do I need to cut?" And like, and
yeah.
that was just like a big thing for me to overcome. Cause I'm like, cause in high school you got to play dang near the whole game. You got to preserve your energy and whatnot. Yeah, there's none of that in college ball.
Crazy. Were you playing both sides of the ball in high school or just defense?
Yeah, I was playing running back and I was playing safety.
Oof,
Yeah, man. Hey,
that's
check out hey
crazy.
check out the highlights. They're on YouTube.
Go look them up on YouTube. Go find them. Oh, Caleb, you got anything?
No, that about wraps it for me.
Cool. Well then, Kalechi, thank you for coming on, man. Enjoyed it. Uh, good luck to whatever you end up doing. Good luck with work. Good luck with everything, man.
Hey, appreciate you, my brother, and glad I could join you guys, man.
All right. Well, that wraps it up for this week. Thank you guys for tuning in, and see y'all next time.